Hello guys, welcome back to Ikram Aligned. We're 6 weeks into my weight loss journey. So how's it really going? You guys would have seen in my 2 week update, I was doing so well. I was really excited because I was like, oh my God, I've lost 4 pounds. It's only 2 weeks in and I only wanted to lose 12 pounds. This is incredible. Wow. And then the 4 week mark came around and your girl gained 2 pounds. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit of a Debbie Downer. I just was like, what is happening? I'm meal planning. I'm spending all this time, I'm getting in my steps. And I really was feeling so frustrated and demotivated. Luckily, I had the genius idea to be like, you know what? I actually did measure myself when I first started. Let me just measure and see if there's actually been a change. And you know what? I've lost a couple of centimeters. So I think it was like 2 centimeters in most parts of my body. I'll post it somewhere on the video here so you guys can see. And that really kind of let me come back down to earth to be like, yes, I may not have lost 4 pounds in the 4 weeks and now we're 6 weeks in, but at the end of the day, I can see that we're going down. And that to me was more important because you're going to have moments where you plateau. There's going to be up and down. Like I'm going to show you guys an image of my scale. So it's a digital scale and it keeps track of my weight. Have I lost 6 pounds? We're close. We were at 5.6 the day that I took the screenshot, and I'll post it up here and you'll see that it goes up and down. But for the most part, there's a trajectory of it going down. And I think that is so important, which is why I like to weigh myself daily. I don't do it all the time. I've been pretty bad the last couple of days, but as often as I can. Oh, for the love of God, do not weigh yourself after you've had a meal. Like there's no point. Just do it in the morning after you've went to the bathroom, and you know what I mean. And that is when you're going to weigh yourself. And then if you've passed that point, there's no point because there's food, there's water, there's stuff in your body. And of course, you're going to weigh a little bit more than the normal. And so every time I weigh myself, it's in the morning. And if I miss it, then I just skip that day and wait till another day to weigh myself. So we're not quite at 6 pounds, but I am so happy. I'm really proud of the results. And I mentioned it in the last video, like it's taken me years to go below 130. Like I've just been that person that just goes up and down like 3 or 4 pounds and I'd get excited and then I'd go back. And so this time I was like, let's not let that excitement of losing, 4 pounds or 5 pounds, whatever, distract me, and I'm gonna maintain and stick with a plan. Did I stick with the plan? No, to be honest, I didn't. So day 30, I was so excited. I was like, oh, I didn't have any takeout for a month. I've been meal planning, like everything is going good, but the scale is not going so great. So we had ourselves a little pity party. Also, I was on my cycle, and that's probably why I really shouldn't have weighed myself. Like, for the love of God, don't do what I did. Don't weigh yourself when you're on your cycle because you're bloated. You're already not feeling your best. So why add to that? Note to self, I am not going to be weighing myself on my cycle. There's just no point. And this is how our body is. We fluctuate. And that's one thing I've noticed on this is that there are weeks where I am incredibly hungry. And then there are weeks where I'm not that hungry. And I'm realizing that it really has a lot to do with the cycle. And I'm starting to pay attention to that. If I'm in that week where I'm like, oh, I'm really hungry this week, usually for the most part, what I've noticed is I'm on my luteal cycle and it is what it is. And so now I'm just like, oh, okay, I know where I am in the cycle and I will have good options for me to enjoy at that time. And I think that is more important. So after the 30 days, I was, like I said, I was doing great. And then what happened? Because I haven't posted anything, right? So things came up that week and then I didn't meal plan. And then a couple of days later, a family member who was in the hospital, had passed. And so I've just been dealing with that. I kind of let the grief and all that kind of impact where I was like, okay, I'm not gonna worry about what I'm eating right now because I have a lot of emotions, and I don't have the energy to be worried about what I'm eating and what I'm doing. And so I gave myself a little break, and I think it was much needed. And I think that's important sometimes to realize that, like, we're human, things happen. And so, yeah, I kind of fell off for a week there. And yes, I did get takeout. Yes, I wasn't tracking at all. Normally, like, a previous version of me would have been like, oh my God, I'm just going to eat my emotions. And then because I've already fell off the bandwagon, I'm just going to keep going. And this time I was like, no, I'm allowing myself to take this time to be with family and not worry about a diet and all of this meal planning and meal prepping and what have you. And then when I felt ready, I was like, okay, today I'm going to go back in the kitchen. And I wasn't able to do the full meal preps that I do. I just prepared like 2 dishes that I could eat for a couple of days. And then I did that another day, another 2 dishes. And that's how it's been up until now. So I haven't done a big weekly Sunday prep. I don't know, maybe my Sunday preps also weren't that sustainable. We'll see. I'm going to try to go back to it next Sunday. But I will say is when I have ready-made meals in the fridge, I tend to eat better, especially because I love takeout. Oh my God, do I love takeout? And normally and you might have seen in the other video is that, like, or if you watch any of these, what I eat in a day, that sometimes I'll make myself Korean chicken. I love that. When I have it, perfect. I'm going to, have my healthier version of it. I didn't have that the last week or so. And I ended up ordering food to be delivered. And I was like, okay, I'm doing these things. And it's sometimes just having that awareness of being like, why am I doing this? Okay, the problem is that I don't have meals prepared. That's what I'm going to do. And then the other problem was for me is that the 4 hours on Sunday it was a lot. And the fact that I was even trying to film it and all of that, I was like, what am I doing? This is too much. So I've went to meal planning 2 dishes. And then once that is done, I'll go and I'll plan 2 more. And I'm feeling this out to see if this feels a bit more sustainable rather than the big weekly Sunday meal preps. I think I've harped on the weekly meal preps long enough. One thing you'll notice though is that I've pretty much been eating whatever I want. And what I mean by this is that I've been having like bagels. I made myself naan, but like homemade naan. I love butter chicken, but instead I've been doing chicken korma because I find that it's just, I don't know, I have the spices for chicken korma. So I've made this like coconut chicken korma, but instead of sugar, I made honey. And that has been one of my go-to meals. The other day, I really, really, really was wanting bread, and I just didn't have the time to make bread. And then I was like, hey, I know how to make naan with just flour and some Greek yogurt. Easy, simple. There's no wait time. You just mix it all together. Boom. You can cook it on a frying pan and it's done in minutes. Same thing with the bagels. I put it in the air fryer and 15 minutes later, I have myself delicious, healthy, high protein bagels. And so it's just been about finding ways to increase my protein when I can. And I find that the more protein I have, especially, I tend to be a bit more satiated. I'm a volume eater. So I don't know those people that can have like really small plates. If I'm going to have a small plate, it better be a lot of meat or it better be something that's going to keep me full. So I've been tricking myself by having these smaller those side plates or salad plates, I think they're called, and eating off of those. And because that's full, it makes my brain believe that I'm like, wow, I'm eating so much food, when really it's just a smaller plate, but that's like filled to the brim. And gotta trick your brain into thinking like, ooh, okay. So yeah, I do weigh and scale everything. And I know that's probably not sustainable for everybody, but for me it is. And I think because it's for this portion, like one thing I will say is that the couple of days that I wasn't tracking, I kind of was able, and this is one thing I did notice, is that I was able to say, oh, I know what 1 serving of this is. I know what 2 servings of this, because I've been constantly weighing and scaling my food. You get a better idea. And so those people that are like, oh, just intuitive eat, I don't think you can be an intuitive eater if you've been if you're someone that binges, because it's really hard to know what intuitive means. I think once you've been scaling and you have an idea of, oh, this is how much, this is how many calories, this is a more satiating, healthier, more nutritious, like you can then gauge better of how to be an intuitive eater, if that makes sense. So the other thing to note is with my steps. So my steps, I've been gradually increasing them. I don't know if in the beginning it was like 7K steps, then I got it up to like 8 or 9, and now I'm up to about 12K. I'm trying to aim for 13, but 12K has been the sweet spot for what I can do in a day. And I find that's been helping. I did start exercising. So I didn't want to start until like after I've been doing this for 4 weeks. So I've started doing weight training twice a week. I do very light Pilates, like I just find a video, follow along for Pilates. But one thing I do every single day is my steps. And I'm a little bit laxed about it on Sundays because I believe Sundays for me is like a day of rest. And if I don't feel like doing all the steps, then I also think that's okay. And I tend to do like yoga in the morning just for my muscles and to feel. But really, the biggest takeaway from this is that it's starting to feel like these are new habits that I'm setting in place, and that this is more a lifestyle change rather than quick, easy, I'm only going to do this for a couple of weeks and then I'm going to go back to my old habits. I feel like I'm just setting the framework and the stepping stones for a lifestyle change and a habit change. And I feel like once you change your habits, you're able to just be a healthier person. And I think that's what the mindset shifts that I've been doing. And speaking of mindset shifts, there's been a couple. So in terms of mindset shifts, I've started thinking of myself as someone that's healthy. So I'm just someone that doesn't need to have takeout. I'm someone that likes to cook at home, that likes healthier food, that doesn't need to have sugar every day. And I really believe a lot of this change in terms of my weight is really due to the walking. What I do is now, before I would like wake up and walk, I have a very intense morning routine. And so I've pushed back my walking so that I can walk after breakfast. So I'll have breakfast, I'll walk for 20 to 30 minutes, then I'll have lunch, I'll walk for another 20 to 30 minutes. And then after work, I will walk for about an hour. And I like to treat myself to a TV show or something. And so it's like 2 in 1. So it feels like I'm doing something that I like to do with something I don't want to do. And now I actually look forward to walking. It just, it's become addicting. And I think that is the best way to have habit change, is just to make it a part of your life where it's super easy to do and it doesn't feel like a hassle. It's super cold where I am, like it is freezing cold, and having a walking pad has been instrumental in all of this. If I just want to hug myself in November when I made that decision to be like, when it first started to snow and I was like, I need a walking pad. I'm just gonna bite the bullet and I'm just gonna go and invest in. And I didn't even buy a really expensive one. I bought it while it was on sale. It was in my cart for about a year. Like, I'm those people, when I like something, I just put it in my Amazon cart and then I eventually will get it. And it used to drive my sister insane because she'd see my Amazon cart and she's like, how do you have thousands of dollars worth of things in there? And I'm like, oh, that's my wish list. And when I'm ready, I buy them. Or because I know the price, when I see that it's gone down, I'm like, maybe this is the time to buy it. So that is a complete different segue. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will see you guys probably at the end. I don't know if I'm going to do another check-in video. I'll see how I feel. Unless there's a really big change, I feel like this will be the halfway, and I'll see you guys in 6 weeks. And I love you guys, and take care. If you are on a weight loss journey, I want this to be your sign to be like, you can also do it. If I can do it, I'm a very lazy person. If I can do it, anyone can do it. So I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.